Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, December 18th, 2022. I'm getting a little worried here. I've got a bad feeling. Where is Tracy's ice skates ornament? The one that Catherine gave to her when she was 6 years old? Do you guys think that Jeremy Stark took it? Because that's my theory. I mean, would it be too much to ask for one of the Abbotts to get up off their butt and help her look for it? This is the real problem here. You guys are going to make Tracy go up into the dark Abbott house attic looking for her ice skates ornament when there's a maniac on the loose out there? I feel like there's definitely some preferential treatment going on. There's a lack of respect going on. Everybody's so worried about Diane. Not enough attention to the missing ornament mystery. Oh. But Diane sure is good for the drama. I think this is the first week since Diane came back to the show, that we haven't seen her. It's been an entire week without Diane on our screens. I don't know what to do with myself. It's killing me. I miss her already. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe next week it's going to be killing her. Ooh, I got a feeling. I mean, the ruse is on. Everyone thinks that Diane has fled town in fear of Jeremy Stark, but Kyle and Jack actually have her stashed away at the Abbott cabin. And with Kyle not wanting to leave his mother alone up there on Christmas, he may end up leading Jeremy right to her. He might take a drive going up there to keep his mother company, and without him knowing, Jeremy could be on his tail. I think their little attempt to play good cop, bad cop, Jack and Kyle showing up in Jeremy's hotel room, I think that has done nothing to scare him off. They wanted to scare him off and or pay him off, but it's probably not going to work. Jeremy is probably going to catch on to them, follow Kyle to the cabin, and we're going to get some kind of Christmas Halloween horror show, which I can't wait to see, to be honest. I mean, there's no way this guy's giving up. Jeremy Stark does not strike me as a man who gives up that easily. When, in fact, Jack told Jeremy to stay away from Jabot. And he showed up the very next week again, looking for Diane. But this time, he ended up finding Phyllis. He found Phyllis twice this week, actually. And the Phyllis that he has found is a very different Phyllis. Some might say a not quite so smug Phyllis. I mean, looking into Jeremy's eyes this week on two separate occasions, there was no smug smile on her face. He is truly terrifying. Just absolutely menacing. Doing nothing, standing there. He could just be standing there smiling and looking, and he's just menacing. I mean, anyone who could reduce Phyllis Summers to a whimpering puddle of shame on the Crimson Lights patio floor is a real force to be reckoned with. Oh, I think Phyllis really realized on her own that she was playing with fire and that now it's an uncontrolled fire. I think she realized that she made a mistake. She bit off more than she could chew, and that Jeremy could end up hurting the people that she actually does care about in an attempt to just get Diane out of town. She made the problem bigger by trying to solve the problem in this way. So she asked to meet with Jeremy at Crimson Lights, and she confessed to him that she was the one who called him. She was the one that told him that Diane turned him into the FBI, but she didn't really have any evidence of that. She was just hoping that he would scare Diane away. But since that's happened now, she's extremely sorry to have wasted his time, and she would like it if he could just please go away now. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna work. If you could just go away now, scary bad guy, then it would make me and everyone else a lot more comfortable. She says, no, I don't even know where Diane is, and nobody's gonna tell me. I'm persona non grata, so I can't be of any help to you. I think we can guess he's gonna somehow make her try to be helping him out in one way or another. But yet he gave her a polite smile and kind of nodded and went away. But I get the impression that he's not done with her. I don't know what exactly is going to become of Phyllis and, what hell she's going to have brought upon herself by bringing him into the mix. But he's got something that he's going to have planned for her. I think he's going to get his money's worth or get his revenge in one way or another, or from one person or another. I just think Phyllis is going to end up being on the receiving end of his wrath. And I think she already knows that. She decided, well, it's probably a good idea to give Jack and Summer the truth. Let them know what's going on, that she actually was the one who called Jeremy to begin with, but that she talked to him and he seemed like he's going to go away. So are we good? No. Jack was so mad. He said, if it were up to me, I would fire you on the spot. But because you're an employee of Marchetti, I'm going to leave this decision up to Kyle and Summer. And then Summer told Phyllis that she talked it over with Kyle off screen and has decided that Phyllis is fired, terminated, effective immediately. So Phyllis is gone from the building. Oh no. What will she do now? Poor Summer's gonna be left all alone to deal with how Sally Spectra is now going to come after the interior design portion of the Marchetti business. Okay. It's unbelievable that a new startup is really going to rival with this big international company, but that's not even the most unbelievable part of all. The most unbelievable part of all is I cannot believe that Nick is all in on Sally after being about 5 minutes too late to walk in on her and Adam's sex session last week. Did somebody say Omega sphere? It's not just any sphere. It's the Omega sphere. It's a sphere? Yeah, but it's an Omega one. Not mega. Omega. Some might even say, whoa, mega. Whoa, mega sphere actually would have been a better name. Daniel, call me next time. I could have helped out with this name thing. Call me anytime, actually. Yeah, Phyllis was pretty mad about being fired by Summer, and for a moment, I was thinking, oh, maybe she'll end up teaming up with Sally to compete against Summer and Marchetti. That would be more of a fair fight. Phyllis plus Sally versus all of Marchetti. And maybe even that could lead to Phyllis competing with Sally for Nick, or at least having an opinion on it. We haven't seen the official blow up of Phyllis realizing that Nick and Sally are together yet, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. But I guess that's not going to happen. because Daniel swooped in and offered his mother a job, which I have to admit is absolutely perfect, and I feel really good about it. I don't know about you, but I really like the idea of Phyllis working under the Chancellor Winter's umbrella for Daniel and in the Omega Sphere. It sounds so epic. And, Phyllis herself is pretty epic. And I like hacker Phyllis. I like that part of who she is, and it's rooted. I mean, she was kind of computer savvy even back in the 90s before everybody was computer savvy. And so maybe we see it as corny a little bit, but I think it's actually hacking and being good with computers is actually a relevant skill for all kinds of storylines. And I think that Phyllis pulls it off. And so I'm happy to see this. I think this is a great move for her character. I like that this time she's going to be working for a tech company. I mean, why do we even have all of these media companies? That seems more irrelevant to me. Tech companies, that makes more sense. I think, I actually think that the Omega Sphere project, that having a tech company on the show feels more modern somehow and more relevant. I think it's great. Plus, I think that Phyllis will be in a good position to then get nosy about Daniel's relationship or non-relationship or fumbling relationship with Heather. I'm curious to know what exactly happened there. And I think Phyllis will also be in a good position to start drawing out what Daniel's true feelings for Lily are. Plus, I think that Michael and Michelle work really good together as actors. I really buy them as mother and son. I think that they're the way they interact on screen feels very natural. And next week, dear old Dad's gonna be coming into the mix. Danny Romalotti! Ooh, here's me throwing my bra at the screen. Danny! Ah! Sexy rock star! Woo! He still looks good. He does still look good, and I can't wait to see how he's going to interact with Phyllis. I'm imagining it's going to be very chilly. But wouldn't it be great if there was a hookup there? Phyllis and Danny, for real. That'd be crazy. Maybe Christine will stop by next week to see him. Maybe Tracy will be able to interact with him. Definitely Lauren will, because she was already asking Daniel about his dad. So I'm sure we'll see that next week. I really like Danny. I've always liked Danny. There's a picture of him up here on my book right behind me. I mean, he's so classic. And I just think, is there any chance that he would be willing to stick around? Because that would be so great. We need a new guy in town anyway. And who better to crush on than one of our classic crushes? This week, Chelsea makes a big stack of pancakes for Connor and then makes amends to half the town. There was no syrup on those pancakes. She saved the thick, syrupy goodness for all of her apologies. It was pretty thick, yeah. She apologized to Billy for the long grift, I guess, that brought her into Genoa City, including the non-consensual sex that created Johnny. I forgot that she had drugged him and slept with him. I didn't remember that little piece of information, and neither did he, apparently, or he doesn't he knows it happened, but he doesn't remember the details. But yes, that was an interesting fold in, because it's part of Chelsea's origin story on the show, and she decided to double up on that amends and apologize to Victoria for it too. She also apologized to Adam for all of the difficulties in their relationship, and she apologized to Sharon for not being more empathetic when Sharon was going through the same thing that Chelsea is now, when Sharon, was spiraling out of control. I thought that was the most interesting amends even though maybe it's not the most front burner of the stories. But Chelsea was just getting started in her life with Adam when Sharon was starting to spiral out of control, and she burned down the ranch, and Adam was trying to balance between helping Sharon and being loyal to Sharon because he was married to her. He wanted to help her, but he was also trying to start his new life with Chelsea in that creepy old Victorian mansion. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, that brought back a flood of memories, and I kind of liked that. But yeah, lots of apologizing, and then Chelsea and Billy together watched It's a Wonderful Life, which is a very appropriate choice for both the time of year and also for what Chelsea has recently been through. So while Chelsea and Billy were munching on popcorn, Billy and Lily's relationship continues to circle the drain. Billy flat out asked Lily this week if she's feeling threatened by his relationship with Chelsea. And she lied and said no. But of course she is. Of course she feels threatened by the relationship with Chelsea. She knows that Chelsea kissed him not that long ago. That has to be in the back of her head. Pretending like it's not there is just a flat out lie. So she lies. And she says, no, I'm not worried, I'm not jealous, I'm not threatened. I'm just worried about you, Billy. I think that you are in another addiction cycle. I think that you're just chasing the next high. And only this time, you're gambling with Chelsea's recovery. Which is kind of true. Has it occurred to Billy that maybe it's not a good idea to let Chelsea become more close to him or to latch onto him in any way or to build her recovery around him, especially not when he himself, I think, still has some more work to do. Lily opened up to Daniel about the whole situation. She was hesitant to do so. She didn't want to talk to her ex about her current relationship, but she clearly just needs someone to confide in. And I thought Daniel did a pretty good job. He tried telling her, okay, well, this sounds to me that Billy is falling into old patterns. Maybe you're just being too nice to admit that it's not working anymore. And I think that Lily kind of liked hearing that she was right about her assessment of Billy's motives and personality, but I think that she did not like hearing the part about, well, maybe it's over and maybe it's not fixable and maybe there's nothing you can do about it. So Daniel kind of changed his tune to the more altruistic version, and he said, well, what if Billy's just doing what he has to do and you just have to deal with it? I liked that. I liked that he at least presented both sides. Either way, I think that you could tell that Daniel wanted to be supportive, but I think he also wanted to be done with the subject of Billy so that Lily could join him in celebrating the new gaming platform. He'd probably love to pull her into gaming world. Maybe he could create a game where he rescues Queen Lily from the Billy monster. There you go. Working it out in virtual time. I actually kind of like that Billy and Daniel aren't altogether competitive right now, and then they're not being complete jerks to each other. They ran into each other this week at Glam, and Daniel tried talking to Billy about his future goals, which truthfully Billy doesn't have. I mean, here's Daniel, driven, working towards something in a way that Lily is, driven, working towards something. And I think Billy's just taking it one moment at a time. I mean, Billy had a brush with a near-death experience, And I think that's made him realize that time is fleeting and he's maybe just here for the moment and taking it little by little. That, that is how you make big progress. It's just one little step at a time, and maybe that's where his mind is right now. But I do think that eventually Billy is going to need some forward momentum for his own life soon. He's very invested in Chelsea's life and her recovery, and I think at a certain point he's going to have to think about how he can translate some of the things that he's learned from this into his own life. Tracy bumped into Lily this week after she was done with Christmas shopping. She had a bunch of bags in her hand, and oh, what would it be like to be on Tracy Abbott's nice list? Her Christmas shopping list. I bet that Tracy gives really thoughtful presents. I would love to receive a gift from Tracy. I bet she gives thoughtful presents the same way that she gives very thoughtful advice. Like, she knows darn well that Lily is the best thing that has happened to her brother Billy in a long while. But I think that Billy hasn't really opened up to anyone in his family about what his perspective might be. I mean, we're seeing Lily confide in Daniel and Devon about the nature of her relationship, but we're not getting a chance to see Billy do that. All we see him is, with Chelsea, and they're not really digging in, and they shouldn't be digging into the topic of his relationship with Lily. So I think that Billy needs to talk to somebody. I mean, Tracy suggested couples counseling, which Lily later asked Billy to do, and he agreed. But I think maybe it would be better progress and better viewing if we got to see Billy talking to Tracy or Ashley or Jack about what's been going on with him, and, maybe vaguely about what happened with Chelsea, what he's been through, and also about how that's affected his relationship with Lily. I think that maybe a family member could provide better insight for him, and also would establish some of his own support system. Billy's been through something too, and I think that, because it's created some friction with Lily, maybe she's not the best person, she's not the most neutral person to talk to about this, so I would really like to see him talking to his family. But he always has this contentious relationship with them. I mean, I don't know. I think they're going to tell him what they want to tell him, and maybe that's not what he wants to hear. And Lily's in the same place. I think when they go to couples counseling, I think they're both kind of there because they're going to want someone to just reaffirm that they're right and the other one is wrong, in which case all of the talk therapy in the world is not going to solve Billy and Lily's relationship problem. Devon made a special trip all the way over to Nate's place of business to tell Nate to mind his own business. That's rich. He asked Victoria to leave right when she was getting ready to, pick the in-flight champagne to celebrate the fact that Elena can't come on her business trip with Nate, which is a good thing too, because this trip is going to be all work and no play, says Victoria. Cut to Victoria and Nate making time for play. But this was a great scene. After Victoria left, Devon said that he's heard that Nate has been asking questions about what went down between he and Amanda. Well, how dare Nate get so close to getting the morality upper hand on me? I only slept with Abby once, and it wasn't premeditated, except now I've been doing a whole lot of meditating on how I want to do it more than once. And Abby's doing it too, by the way, sitting with baby Dom right on that staircase where the magic happened, talking about Daddy Devon. Oh, okay. I got a feeling some more magic going to be happening on that staircase soon. Maybe Sharon and Chance are making some magic happen too. I'm not into it. No. Sharon and Chance can be friends, but no romance. Sharon can only be in a romance with Nick or Adam. Those are the two choices. No new loves for Sharon. I can't handle it. I'm glad she's being friendly with Chance and all. I'm glad that, he's the newest member of the Moonlight Madness Monster Club with Connor and Johnny, but that's all it can ever be. I think Connor and Johnny are cute. I can't help myself. It's a little cheesy. Okay, it's a lot cheesy. But, we always complain about not seeing the kids on the show. So here they are. And if you think that they're not good, then that just reinforces exactly why Y&R doesn't show the kids. So, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. I liked it. And in other Sharon-related news, Noah told Allie this week that Audra kissed him. But he wasn't gonna tell her. Did you notice? He was not gonna mention it. Sharon told Noah that Audra had come to Crimson Lights looking for him. And Allie overheard that and was like, Noah, is there something that you haven't told me? And Noah was like, no. Maybe. Or yes. Okay, she kind of kissed me. And I'm not sure if I kissed her back. It all happened pretty fast. I can't be sure. Okay. Noah, do I have something that I need to worry about here? No, nothing to worry about. It's just my beautiful, buxom ex who I had great sex with. She's hanging around. She kissed me. I'm not sure if I kissed her back, but there's definitely nothing to worry about, Allie. I don't know. I think we're losing steam on Allie. Do you feel that way? We don't really see her all that much anymore. We see Noah more than we see her. The relationship is, the whole story is a little, sort of flipping around. It's a fish out of water, flipping around. And Jack, the thing about Allie is, I think that Allie has so much potential. She came on at the same time as Diane. There was a lot to work with when it came to this new member of the Abbott family. And then she got involved in this relationship with Noah. It's nice. It's cute. We've had a lot of time and space where we've known that there's a triangle emerging, the whole Audra thing, but we really haven't had much movement on it. We haven't really dug into any of it. And even this week when the Abbotts were when they were trimming the tree, Jack pulled out an ornament that Lon had given to him many years ago at their first Christmas together, and he said, I'm going to give this to Allie this year and let her hang it. But we didn't see that, and maybe we will next week. I can't rule that out, but it just kind of feels like Allie is way backburnered right now. And so I'm thinking maybe we need a little poll question here to find out if you guys have lost steam on the Allie character. Go to yrchat.com and cast a vote. Are you still interested in Allie's character and or Allie's story? Or are you thinking that we might as well shuffle her off and say, bye now? Okay, I am warming up to Tucker a little bit this week. I think it was the giant outdoor flame heater. It helped melt my chilly feelings about him a little bit. Well, and I'm always a sucker for a new set. Anybody who brings me a new set automatically gets brownie points. And I loved watching the winter picnic. Well, I like watching it on screen much more than actually participating in one. So this was the perfect compromise. I can watch the cold, chilly winter picnic from the warmth of my central heating in my home. It was visually so great. There was this cute little bistro table and a picnic basket that Tucker had set up, and he had even a little thermos of hot cocoa there, and he commented on the smell of someone burning a fire in the air, and oh, I love that smell. Did you catch that? That was such a endearing moment for me. Tucker said, oh, I smell that somebody's got a fire burning. I love that smell. And that I was just completely transported in that moment, because who doesn't love the smell of like the air being cold and there's someone burning leaves in the background, or there's a fire burning somewhere and you can just, it comes over you, and it's a real sensation. I mean, you really feel that. I mean, smell is such a powerful one of our senses, and it's something that we don't really ever hear or see about. It's like, now that I think about it, the characters never really much mention smelling things, and yet it really added this incredibly rich element to that scene. It's just the small detail of imagining a bonfire burning in the background really made the winter picnic a total treat for me. I mean, the rest of Tucker's lies, not so much. I mean, I still think he's a lying little weasel. But he was charming, and so that melted me a little bit. I mean, he has told Ashley that he's coming after Jabot, and this week she guessed that he was coming after Chancellor Winters too, and she guessed that he was offering to fund her next business venture as a way, I guess, to just remove her from any fallout when he comes after Jabot, and yet she is falling for him. I mean, she's falling for him, right? She's not fake anymore. Diane's gone. There's no reason she would need to be spending more time with him. It's working. And I will admit, it is nice to see Ashley getting romanced. Yeah, I mean, I think that Ashley needs some attention. I think Ashley needs some lightening up, and it really has been great seeing her on screen more lately, and so I'm grateful to Tucker for that. But I'm still worried about Ashley. I think she's walking on thin ice, which is exactly where Tucker wants her. Love is chaos, right? I mean, so the wise men say, love is chaos. Actually, it was Audra who said that last week in our quote. She was talking to Noah. She was kind of pleading her case for their relationship. And he's like, no, our relationship was chaotic. And she's like, love is chaos. I mean, not always, but I like that passionate idea. I was not expecting as many people to get that right. So big congratulations to Ron, Daisy, Henry, Debbie, Tanya, Deedles, Nancy, Kenzie, and Victoria. Good job, you guys. I like this quote. You tell me if you know who said it. The more at peace you are, the more things go your way. I think that's true. It's kind of a good Christmas week, Christmas time message. The more at peace you are, the more things go your way. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now on to your comments, starting with Diana, who says, I enjoyed Ashley's date with Tucker at the park outside for a winter picnic. I don't think that we've seen anyone do that before on the show. Tucker was very creative with this plan to try and win Ashley's heart, and I'm still rooting for them despite his recent rendezvous with Audra. I know, Allie, you mentioned last week that Tucker doesn't deserve another chance with Ashley because he's cheated on Ashley in the past, but I think he may be being too hard on Tucker, Allie, as he's not the only one to have cheated on their spouse. There's a long list of characters who've been guilty of this crime. Lily cheated on Kane more than once. Kane cheated on Lily. Nick has cheated on Sharon. Phyllis has cheated on Jack and Danny, if I'm not mistaken. Lauren cheated on Michael. Hillary cheated on Neil. Kyle cheated on Lola. Paul cheated on Christine. I'm sure I've probably missed other affairs. But I also think Abby's being a hypocrite toward Tucker, as she gave him a hard time for cheating on her mother when she is a cheater herself. Let's not forget, Abby also slept with her own niece's husband, which is pretty despicable. I hope, Allie, you can think about forgiving Tucker for his past misdeeds. I really hope Tucker's being sincere with Ashley. Well, what a way to make a point. Here I am. Tucker cheats on he's a cheater. No, when it's like, I love it. All those cheatings were juicy drama that I'm totally in for. So, yes, you're completely right. And I will warm up to him. I'm not sure why it's taken me so long, but I genuinely did make progress this week. The winter picnic was a good winning over for me. And I love your point about Abby too, being judgmental toward Tucker for the thing that not only she did with her niece's husband, the thing that she did with Devon just now. So yeah, that's very hypocritical. But I guess the other thing too is I feel like I'm not sure if Tucker is sincere about his feelings for Ashley. I mean, he's trying awfully hard, but he also wants something. He wants that in at Jabot. And so in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, is he using her? Is he, hoping to get some information from her? Is he in the building at Jabot under the guise of wanting to see Ashley, and then he's really rifling around for information or something? So I guess part of my difficulty making the leap into their romance is that I'm not sure about his intentions. But again, I mean, I wasn't sure about Ashlyn's intentions for Victoria, and I was all in on that. So yes, there's plenty of evidence to tell me to just go with it. Let the picnic be a picnic. Well, Victoria says, I'm not fond of Audra as a character. However, I appreciate that she has not said the line, quote, but I've worked so hard to change, end quote. She wants Noah to accept her as she is. She will use the intensity of the past relationship to entice him, but promises him no more. Having all the characters talk about their big change is getting a bit ho-hum. Yeah, Audra has not said, but I'm just not that person anymore. I don't feel like I'm seeing enough Audra to connect with Audra. And I feel similarly about Noah and Allie at this point. I think it'll be interesting to see those poll results. Well, a lot of people really wanted to comment about Devon and Nate this week, and darn it, if that scene in Nate's office wasn't one of the best of the week. Diana says, I really liked the scene where Devon went to Nate's office to confront him as to why he was inquiring what happened between he and Amanda. I love their rivalry. I'm so glad the show has given Nate much more of a personality and made his character a lot more compelling. Daisy says, I don't understand why Nate thinks he can grill Devon about his personal life or anything else for that matter. True apologies mean you recognize the person you apologize to may never forgive you. So I wonder if Nate has a hidden agenda. Maybe he plans to put Devon's indiscretion out on Newman Media. Because if he makes Devon look bad, then it will make Chancellor Winters look bad and give Newman Media first crack at new business. If Nate does anything like this, though, I think Victor would fire him on the spot as it affects the family. Oh, what if Nate did an expose on Devon? He could keep Abby out of it and still do an expose on Devon, hurt Chancellor Winters, and give Victoria a little bit of an opening to maybe see if she can take over the company, or Tucker. Ooh, good idea, Daisy. That's a good one. Good plot twist. Well, Laura says Nate betrayed their trust. Devon betrayed Amanda. There's no point in arguing who's worse. They both are rotten. until they claim that they've changed. Then they get full credit until next time they do something awful, or until they accuse someone else of a dastardly act and their own dastardly act is thrown in their face. Who decides the test of what is really worse as it goes in the soap opera world? Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're all both bad, aren't they? Devon's maybe been around a little longer to have more of a track history for some bad stuff. Nate is just now getting a personality. But Ellen says, Nate apologized to everyone and said he regretted his actions. Devon is still stomping around like he walks on water. The guy who slept with his blind brother's wife and now Abby while supposedly in a relationship with Amanda. Devon treated Nate like a kindergartner, not a COO. I don't see them as the same. Devon's inheritance has gone to his head. Oh, maybe his inheritance has gone to his head. That's really good. And yeah, Devon does kind of stomp around like he walks on water. You're right. I like that. I like specifically the way you worded that. Gary says Devon is ridiculous. So incredibly arrogant and unforgiving. Nate did not get caught plotting against his family. He caved. He did a turnaround of conscience, however it came about, and told the truth on himself. Does that count for absolutely nothing in the forgiveness game? I really need for Devon to fall hard. Hard. Does Y&R think he's a hero? Ooh, and Sherrod says, as you stated, Nate actually did not betray them. But Devon has betrayed everyone he's been in a relationship with, and including the father he claims to love so much. Yuck. Whew, you guys are good. Ron says, this is good. Ron says, Devon sees himself as the best of Neil, but unfortunately, he's far from it. Neil knew how to show compassion along with tough love. Devon just acts tough, but it's a mask for all his insecurities. I would feel bad for him, but all the money and hero worship makes it possible. Ooh, so this is 2 comments about Devon and his money, maybe letting the money go to his head, and hero worship. Like he became this instant, a power player in Genoa City, an instant source of wisdom, and everybody kind of saw him as a hero is a good word. I mean, he became the town minister for a minute there, and yet we've seen him time and time again take a tumble. So these are all great points, and I love that we're talking about them. I just love that the Devon versus Nate debate rages on. Well, speaking of debates, last week I asked you guys if you were rooting for a Jack and Diane romance. No surprises. 61% of you want to see Jack and Diane get together. 39% voting no. But Marianne V says yes, only because Jack has had such a dry spell. I think he's fallen for Diane again, and he really has a right to be happy. And as long as Diane is being sincere and not pulling a con, I'm not sure if she really has changed. Still not sure if she really has changed. I don't get the sense that Diane is pulling a con, but then again, it's like every time you turn around with this woman, there's something more. So I can see both sides of the argument, but I do think I'm along with Jack in giving Diane the benefit of the doubt. She is at very least convincing. She is convincing. Sue W. says, well, sure, rooting is a bit strong for my thoughts, though. While I'd like to see how a Jack and Diane romance would play out, I'd also be okay with the cat and mouse sidestep continuing. Poor Jack is so rightfully cautious with his heart. And I think that's very true, Sue, that Jack has been very cautious with his heart, but now it really does seem like he has stepped into it full swing. I mean, I really think that he is treading on dangerous water here, given how sensitive he is and what his track record has been. T. Nicole voted no. I would not be completely turned off by a Jack and Diane romance, but only if it's short term. I'm not rooting for them to get together and would be okay if they don't. Jack and Phyllis are not on good terms now, but I was more excited for Jack and Phyllis to get together than Jack and Diane. I think this Diane story would have been even more interesting if Jack and Phyllis were already in a fully committed relationship and Phyllis was also living at the Abbott house with Jack. Yeah, it was last Thanksgiving that Jack and Phyllis were getting to know each other again. And it almost seemed like it was written in stone, written in the stars, that Jack and Phyllis were going to have this wonderful reunion, and I was for it. And then it went away. It sort of went to the mist. And they were getting close at the time when Jack went to LA and found out about Chemo's dead, not dead. That Chemo was dead, not dead. But Diane really almost immediately threw a wrench into that, and it just hasn't recovered. The relationship just hasn't recovered. Southside Granny says, I can't stand the thought of Jack and Diane together. Jack is worse than fool's gold. And Tony says, I'd like to see Tara come back for Jack. Oh, Tara. She was a good villain. They got rid of her way too soon. She could have been a good pair for Jack, and just in general a good villain. New topic. Daisy says, I think a great twist would be if Jeremy Stark was dun 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 Victor's son. Victor and his then girlfriend had him before he made any money, so they decided to give him up for adoption, thinking he'd have a better life. But that never happened. Stark landed in a bad situation and blames Victor. Ooh, wouldn't that be an awesome twist if Jeremy Stark was Victor's evil son? Another Newman would be pretty good. Ellen says, I just love seeing Phyllis seem genuinely nervous, even alarmed. Good. You don't think twice about making other people miserable. Just soak in that feeling, Phyllis. Karma is a, well, you know. Brilliant. Karma is a, well, you know. Very good. And Sue W. says, Jeremy Stark is scary thus far. Scary. He reminds me of Ray Liotta. Rest in peace. Must be the eyes. Oh, I gotta pause there because, yeah, he reminds of Ray Liotta. That's a really good comparison. I never thought about it, but now I think I'll never be able to unthink about it. Anyway, he's borderline to parody scary instead of legitimate scary. I really hope he further develops the menace without any over-the-top nonsense taking over. I'd like to see the story throw down and dirty with Jeremy Stark as a formidable and even damaging threat. Genoa City could use some serious external shakeup even if things don't end well for the good guys. No Hallmark happy endings guaranteed on soaps. I do look forward to whatever drama is in store. I just hope it doesn't go cuckoo nuts off the rails like it did with Ian Ward. Oh, Ian Ward, yeah. You think he's kind of parody scary. That's interesting. I haven't got that. I took him pretty seriously. I wasn't getting any kind of like cheesiness out of it or anything that didn't seem real. But maybe you're right. Maybe it is being played a little too obviously menacing. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out for that. Henry says Phyllis is playing with fire. It would not surprise me at all if she learns of Diane's whereabouts and informs Jeremy Stark. Yeah, Phyllis could find out and tell Jeremy right where Diane is. That's true. I mean, she was like, nobody's going to tell me nothing. But you know she could find out if she wanted to. She's a hacker. I'm sure she could hack the Abbott cabin. They've probably got a smart fridge or something that she could hack into. How about this also from Sue W., who says, maybe Phyllis will ultimately save Diane for Jeremy's deep, dark clutches. That's a typical way soaps redeem an unlikable character, and certainly Phyllis is getting the brunt of viewer hate these days. Being a savior would help soften her into being not that person anymore. Or better yet, Diane could rescue Phyllis from Jeremy going after her, and Phyllis will be in the very humble pie position of being indebted to Diane. Or best yet, Phyllis, Nikki, and Ashley could be held captive by Jeremy, and Diane would rescue them all. Ooh, that would be good. What if all three of them... Yeah, you know, that would be a humble pie moment. What if Jeremy had all three of them tied up at the cabin and Diane came up there and shot him or something? You know, the last time we were at the Abbott cabin, was the Valentine's Day massacre, wasn't it? Where Summer's husband, Austin, was killed. I feel like that's the last time we saw the cabin, or am I misremembering? What do you think was the last? What's your last memory of the Abbott cabin? That's a good theory. I like that, though. I like that as a redemption plus some drama there. Well, Naomi says Michael and Lauren want to get away from Phyllis so fast that Michael orders a bottle of bourbon with 2 straws. I wonder if he threw that line in. Phyllis can make a whole side story about the best way to eat an olive from a martini. She was so fun to watch today. I'm surprised at how easily she turned on her beloved daughter, Summer. Yeah, that's why I thought there was going to be a real conflict there. I mean, the Sally thing, like Sally declaring, I'm going to be your business rival, whatever. That didn't, I'm like, what's that even mean? And then I thought, oh, well, if Phyllis and Sally work together against Summer, okay, well, there could be some drama there. Phyllis is so scorned by Summer that she starts going after her, although that would be very not nice of a mother. I mean, Phyllis does need a little bit of redeeming, maybe, but you're right. I mean, Michelle Stafford is so good at what she does. Just give her an olive and point the camera on her, and it's interesting. But yeah, also, yeah, a bottle of bourbon with 2 straws. He's adorable. I love my Michael. Well, how about this scandalous take from Gary, who says, this will not be a popular comment, as I don't think anyone will agree with me. Many are excited by the return of Daniel, but I find him kind of boring, and I'm looking forward to a situation to make him come alive. What he has going for him, for those who like him, is truly hippier than anyone else on the show. Low-key, smart, and perceptive. So what? This is more of a plus than a minus, but I'd observe Daniel is the character who most resembles someone who's like a real person. Quirky, funky, eagle-eyeing in on you and not making a lot of flowery pronouncements. Hardcore but real. If he likes you, he likes you. I'm used to my characters being a lot more fancy and superficial. So when some real dude comes along, he seems out of place, throwing me off my game. And Henry says, on the contrary, Gary, I do agree with you regarding Daniel, but from a few different points of view. First, I don't see why they brought him back after such a long hiatus. Some characters are easily accepted as they are brought back onto the show. Diane's a good example. Daniel's not one of them, in my humble opinion. Second, and here is where I'm not going to be very popular with many of the female chatters. What is so hot about Daniel, y'all? I know the old axiom from a male perspective, usually, that beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So I guess from the female perspective, a hunk is in the eye of the beholder. I was disappointed when I learned, or so it seems, that he's staying in Genoa City for a while. Good grief. Allie, just a suggestion for your next poll. Daniel, rush him or flush him. My vote is already in. Thanks for the post, Gary. On a positive note, he has aged nicely. And Ellen says, so sorry that the 50th anniversary year is bringing back some hot guys. You'll just have to suffer through it. Oh, the pain, the pain. Well, first of all, Gary and Henry, let's get to the heart of it. You're jealous. The real truth of the matter is you're jealous that all the ladies love Daniel. It doesn't take away from your charisma. We can like Daniel and you too. I don't know what it is. I think it's everything that Gary said is boring. It's just the fact that he's sort of a real dude and he's there and he's hippier and he's cool and he's sort of looking at you and kind of calm and, you know, he's not fancy. He's just real. But he's also physically, obviously, and completely sexy. I don't know. It's the eyes, it's the stubble, it's the swagger. He's got an X factor about him. It's just, he's got swag. I don't know how else to describe it. Just go with it. But here's something else from Gary, who says, well, something to look forward to is Chelsea Lawson facing the Newman festivities. Yes. So in the previews, Nikki and Victor were talking about whether or not Adam will be at this year's Christmas. So we'll just wait until he walks in with Chelsea on his arm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Newmans will end up treating Chelsea with a whole lot of TLC, since everything else about and around Chelsea has to be extra syrupy right now. Naomi says, I don't think the story will actually go in this direction, but I'm nervous about Chelsea pushing through all these apologies. She failed in her first attempt to be unalive. She's being more careful now. She's going through the motions, as agreed, so she could be released from the 72-hour hold. Now she's showing signs of putting her affairs in order by making amends with her friends and family, although she hasn't started to give away her belongings. But another chat person, maybe it was Ron, had wondered what the counselor actually said to her. Surely we won't be put through the shock of another attempt at suicide. She just seems not herself, even though she's smiling and acting cheerful. That's an interesting read on it, Naomi. That did not occur to me at all. That you think that maybe Chelsea is going through and making these amends, laying a little bit of groundwork for her next attempt. I guess I'm just chalking it all up into Y&R wrapping it up. Ron says Chelsea's rushing the assignment from her counselor to offer amends. It felt out of the blue, and like it had a revolving door of clients to speak to. Like she had a revolving door of clients to speak to. She barely finished talking with Sharon when she beckoned Adam, and it sounded so rehearsed. You may not need an apology, but I need to give one. And from there, it sounded like something out of an intro to drama class. We had a great love once. And it continued until Adam mentioned Billy and she buzzed him in with a text and then responded way too quickly too. Maybe I'm off here, but Chelsea seems to be feeding off having everyone's attention. I'm with Lily on this. Billy needs to set some firm boundaries. I think Billy needs to set some boundaries too. Yes, and I think that's reasonable. And maybe that's a conversation that Lily could have with him. Where are your boundaries? At what point is it a no? Is there a no? Or are you all in for everything Chelsea needs and wants at any time of day or night or whenever? I mean, how all in are you? I think Billy's answer is that he's completely 100% all in. And you know, you can't turn that off when, you know, there's no turn off for that switch. So, yeah, I don't know. Ellen says, they never take enough time with recovery storylines. Sharon had breast cancer for 5 minutes and then she was immediately in low-cut outfits with no signs of surgery scars. It was absurd. Now Chelsea went from rooftop to 72 hours of serious treatment to rapid-fire amends. At least it's an attempt at a story this time, though. Yeah, you know, I think that's it. I think that's it, Ellen. I just think Y&R's not good at resolution. You know, they wanted to give you it's a medical storyline, and I've said it forever. Y&R's just not good at medical storylines. They just want to give you the drama of it, and then they want it to be over quickly and to not really follow through. And I understand. I mean, it's a long format. You know, we can't remember everything that every character goes through all the time and make sure it's in all their scenes and everything. But it does feel rushed, and this is multiple people saying the same thing that I agree with, that it all does feel very rushed. Ron, like, revolving door of people coming and Chelsea giving her amends, okay. I found myself not that tuned into it. I mean, I definitely was like, okay. I mean, I watched it, obviously. I heard all of it. I absorbed all of it, but it didn't evoke a lot from me. It felt a little like going through the motions, and to me it all just feels like Y&R's putting a bow on it. Christmas time's around the corner, let's put a bow on it and we'll move on to other things. Was it Sherrod who mentioned, someone mentioned that Melissa Claire Egan might be pregnant again, so maybe they're going through this quickly, if she's going to need to be off on maternity leave, I'm not sure. But then again, I mean, women on soaps these days really, they work up until their pregnancies, so I mean, I imagine she would still have some time, but I don't know. We'll see. But speaking of wrapping paper, wrapping things up, Diana says, I know I've mentioned this in the past, but I don't know why Y&R never shows any of the characters decorating their homes for Christmas. It would be so much more realistic than us just seeing the house all done up all of a sudden. It makes the characters seem so much more like real people when we see them in their homes doing things everyday people do, such as decorating their tree. I know we used to see Victor and the kids putting the star on the tree when Victoria and Nick were little. It's these little things that add warmth and relatability to the show. Who decorated the tree at the Abbott house? Are we to believe that Mrs. Martinez untangled all of those lights and stood on a ladder to put up the ornaments on the tree without any help? It would also be nice if Y&R could give us a temporary set of Lauren's Boutique where the characters could run into each other shopping for the holidays. We have temporary hotel rooms when characters go on trips. Why not let us see Fenmore's or Marchetti's? Diana, that is the truth. We need a store. It doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't have to be very big. It can just be a counter, a display area, and, of course, a back room for Boinkin. Well, I think that does it for me for this week, you guys. It feels like Y&R just arrived at Christmas this week, and yeah, by next week it's all going to be over. The next time I'm going to see you, it'll be Christmas Eve. But still, I love the society. I love Society's Christmas decor. It's very warm and twinkly and glamorous in there, so I enjoyed seeing that. I did enjoy seeing the Abbott living room. I really would have felt cheated if I didn't, considering we do have a lot of Abbotts and we're getting a lot of action in that living room. I'm glad it was decorated for the holidays, but like we talked about before, I think Y&R is afraid to go all in on the holidays. I think they want it to not be very long because you never know when they're going to get preempted, and then all of a sudden they've got all of this holiday stuff airing the month after. So I feel like it's a conscious effort. Probably also does save some money on decor. I mean, it probably costs a lot of money to get Sally Spectre to go in there and decorate all the sets. That's who decorated the Abbott Christmas tree, Sally Spectre, with her new interior design business. Well, you know, if we're going to have an interior design business, then we better get some new interiors, by the way, because, again, we never see a single swatch. Marchetti has a home division. Marchetti's a fashion. We never see nothing related to nothing. So forgive me if I'm having a hard time getting excited about a new interior design business. What's Sally going to decorate? The inside of the hotel room? Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments, and I will be back next Sunday, Christmas Eve, to see you all again. I love you guys. Bye.